All right, my buddy Tom Hindes has put out his new book called Whittling in Your Free Time. Tom has been a dear carving friend. Now, I have never met Tom personally, but I have known Tom since the Wood Carving Illustrated forum that we had many years ago. So I have talked to him. We have shared. He is a great teacher and carver. He's carved some of those wonderful little arks, Noah and his arks and animals and things like that. And he's put out several little books. His last book was called, I believe it was, anyway, it was Little Figures is what it was. But Tom has put out a new one called Whittling in Your Free Time, 16 quick and easy projects to carve in wood. And he has all the little projects in here with, let me try to turn this like this a little bit. Listen, this is a must book for your library. It is. Now, these are very small figures, but it's a must whittling book for anybody that wants to just have fun whittling little projects and stuff like that. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be whittling some projects that he has put in here. And they're small projects. Let me, he got the patterns in the back here, and he shows you how to whittle these little projects, and they're cute. One thing about Tom, his little animals and stuff have always been wonderful. Like I said, I had him featured in my flat plane carving website of his stuff, his arc especially. Just wonderful things. Okay, now the first project we're going to do this little porpoise, okay? This little porpoise right here that will, let me see if we can see. Let me see if we can get this. Well, too much. It's that little porpoise right there, okay? See him? Now, he's made out of 1/2-inch wood. He's a little small thing, and you go to the back of the book here, and you've got your patterns, and there's your little pattern for the porpoise right here, and you cut that thing out, and when you cut it out, it's going to look something just like this, okay? See how small it is? Now, I think Tom would agree with me with this. If you have not been carving a long time, and I would say this on any project at all that is small and tiny like this, if you have not mastered the knife yet, if you're just a beginner, be very careful. I don't always recommend too small of projects for someone who's just starting out, because of the simple fact that learn how to control your knife first. You've got to realize Tom has been carving for probably 25, 30 years or whatever, a long time, probably longer than I have. And so be very careful when you work with these small projects. They're a lot of fun, but just be careful. Now, you can also take the project and enlarge it and like go it on a 1-inch piece of wood or something like that, or 3/4 or something if you want to do that, where it would maybe be a little bit easier for you. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and go with his size here. Get my knife, I'm sorry. So we want to be very careful how we do this, okay? Now, I would draw a center line on these. So to just draw a little center line like that to give you a general idea of how on each side how much you want to go. See, just draw your little center line just down that way. Now this will be in 3D on both sides for you. And Tom does it in a flat plane sort of way, so as he shows you how, with flat cuts. Now, we also want to draw our center line right down here because we are going to, these fins right here will be divided. This top fin, of course, is one, but these two will be divided, so we want to be very, very careful. This is a very small piece. All right? Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to determine which way our grain is going to go. I believe the grain should go this way. You want it to go up like this, following the, just like that. The grain should go up straight like this, okay? All right. Now, first thing I would do is to outline, and what we got to do is we want to take enough on both sides, just like on the top fin right here. Take enough on both sides and be careful. And come over here and cut here and start taking off some in there. Be very careful to not get in a hurry. Not with small figures like this. Okay. Take very, very small cuts on each side as you go. Watch your center line. There we go. All right, see that? Let's just take a little bit more off. We're dragging our knife here as we do this. All right. See? Now, let's come down here, and if we look, let's look at our picture a little bit here, all right? The way that Tom does it. Let me get on that picture again. All right, see? What we want to do, we look at the picture right here. We want to bring this down, this tail down, and we're going to do this with the fin, and then on the front here, we're going to make a nose, just like that. See that? See that nose? And see how we took on each side off the top fin just like that, okay? All right. Now what Tom is doing is he's making sweeping cuts. So we're just going to kind of cut just like this for this tail, and come and cut like this on the other side for this tail, because this area in here is going to be smaller, or go down, and his tail is going to stick out just like this. See what I'm doing? On each side a little bit. And Tom is showing you sort of make these sweeping cuts like this. which sort of gives it a look. Like that. See? And then we're going to bring this down. Sort of on each fin, bring it down sort of like this. I'll follow the grain. On each side. You have to kind of find out how the grain runs. You have to just hold it just a little bit. And you continue to bring it down a little bit at a time. Just like that. And like a sweeping motion on both sides. Just like that. Like I said, take very, very small cuts. And let's bring this down some more, where we thin that out. Let's thin this down some more. And you go from side to side now, okay? This is how you get that look. There we go. See the sweeping motion here? Even come up here. This is why the reason I say if you are a beginner, be very, very careful, because you have to get in. These are small pieces and you have to really get in. But you see that? Now we're going to come up here with a sweeping motion. When I say sweeping motion, it's just flipping the knife a little bit, in other words. Did you see that? Now you want this to come down on both sides in a thin. See that? We're going to come over here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to come down, then we're going to come here, and we're just going to bring that down. Okay? See that? We want to be real careful in here. See, I'm just sort of dragging my knife. There we go. There we go. See? Now, let's go ahead. See how I get my hands here. We're going to flip the knife right in here. See how, what he does is he takes the knife and he flips it to give it that look, okay? See that? And you go over the other side and do the same thing. By flipping, there we go, see? Just like that. Okay? Now let's take this and make another cut right in here. You get that straight. Make another cut in here and get that straight. Now one of the things you can do is you can enlarge this pattern and use a bigger piece of wood and do the same thing. Okay? I'll thin that just a little bit more. See how I drag my knife? If your knife is sharp enough, that's why I talk about beginners. Be very, very careful, because you get the knife very closely. As you notice, it's very closely to my fingers. So you want to be careful. And we take this right in here and we do the same thing. We just flip that up. Now the grain is changed, so I want to change it around. Here we go. We get that flipping motion. There we go. Flip it up right here. All right, see that? All right, now we come up here. We're going to make our little nose, so we're going to come up here and we're going to just draw a little line across here. And we're going to be real careful. But, well, I'll tell you what we can do. We'll just go ahead and bring this forward at first, okay? And on each side, just kind of bring that down. Okay? Each side, bring that down a little bit. Come on this side, bring it down. On this side, bring it down. Okay? See where we're kind of bringing it to not actually a point, but you kind of flip that knife just like this. See how you flip the knife? There you go. And flip this side a little bit. Where it's not just a straight cut, but you just sort of flip that knife to get it a little, whoop, right there. Now we want to come in here. We want to make a little cut right there. And be careful, but we want to take this down right here, okay? That's going to be our nose, okay? Just like that, see? We just take a little bit off. See how I'm just losing the tip of the knife? There we go. Look at that, see? Gives it that look that we want. All right. Now we come from here and we want to find the grain, which I think is going to be, flip it back this way. There it goes. No, let's see. I think it's going to come this way. Nope. It's going to be this way. And you just want to sort of flip it like that, okay? On each side. Flip the knife, there we go. See that? See, it gives it that look. Got that. And then we kind of come in the middle here, and we do the same thing. Sort of flip it up like that. There you go. See? Now you've got that look to it, see? And we come over here and we begin to take a little bit off on the sides by doing the same thing, kind of flipping that knife as we go. See how it gives it just that look, that kind of unusual look to it? I wrote Tom and asked him if I could do this. I wanted to get permission from him. See that? And we're going to bring this top here to a very thin point almost. Okay. Just dragging the knife, see there? Show you from the point here. Take it, just remove a little bit in there. And remove a little bit in there. There we go. Just like that. If we want to bring a little bit more on, and see, we go from each side like here. A little bit taken off here. And you see from the front. There you go. That's where his eyes, little eyes can be right there. Now what we want to be careful of as we get to the bottom of this right here, I want to take this off just a little bit more in here. Make that a little bit thinner. Okay. Now, what we want to do, and I want to save this for the last because this will be very thin, is this bottom fin, we're going to have to separate it. So, that's why I drew the center line down the thing, okay? We're going to take it, and we're going to go down the center of the line, and we got to be very, very careful using the tip of our knife. Now, let's go ahead.